All right. Hello, my intrepid and resourceful students. It is I, Mr. Solt, and this will actually be take three for me in this video. First time, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. I was about to say, the first time, I forgot to press a very special button that said display capture. Wait, I did do that. Okay, good. It's capturing my display. That's to the good. All right. Was afraid I hadn't done that again and made an unfortunate mistake. All right, there we go. So, everything's right. You're seeing me in that lower right-hand corner of the screen, and then you can see what I'm looking at right now, which is Unit 1, Lesson 2, Pay Periods and Hourly Rates for Advanced Algebra with Financial Applications. Oh, well, so second time I had mic issues. The sound quality was so terrible off the mic that I couldn't bear to put you through it. I had to troubleshoot this. We are learning about distance learning. I hooked up a wireless speaker to this, and apparently that wireless speaker has a microphone. Anyway, turned that off, and everything went back to normal. No more echo. No more talking like I'm sounding like I'm talking from inside of a tin box. Still not ideal audio. I'd like to get a better mic, but this is where we're at right now. All right. So on to those learning targets. This is lesson 2. Learning target number 1 is by the end of this thing, you should be able to say, I can compute weekly, semi-monthly, and biweekly earnings given an annual salary. Which means if you're given an annual salary, then you can figure out what the weekly pay would be, semi-monthly pay would be, and the biweekly pay would be. All right, fair enough. The second learning target here is I can compute hourly pay and overtime pay given an hourly rate. Which is to say, I tell you that someone makes a certain amount of money per hour, say $15 an hour. With just that information alone and how many hours they've worked, you can compute their regular hourly pay with their overtime pay, if any is applicable. All right. Let's just take a look at that vocabulary real quick. If you think you are good on this vocab, you can move on. We'll talk about it again later probably, but I just wanted to pre-teach some of the vocab before we get started because sometimes things trip people up. First of all, weekly. Weekly means happens every week. Biweekly. Biweekly means it happens every other week, right? So if it doesn't happen this week, that means it's happening next week. If it happened this week, if you get paid this week, that means you won't get paid next week. You'll get paid the week after that, every other week. That's the biweekly. Semi-monthly. Semi-monthly means twice a month. Twice a month. Okay? Semi-monthly. Twice a month. Monthly means each month. Direct deposit. It's a beautiful thing. The money from your paycheck doesn't go to a paper check that you have to cash at the bank anymore. It usually goes direct deposits right into your account. No longer need to run that paper check down to the bank anymore. Hourly rate. This is like your hourly rate is just like how much you get paid per hour, right? $10 an hour, $12.50 an hour, $28 an hour. Whatever that is. Regular hours. Regular hours are those usually are going to be the first 40 hours of any given work week. So those are your regular hours because you're going to get paid your regular hourly rate for those regular hours. Once we go over those regular hours, we're starting to talk about the next thing, which is overtime. Overtime hours. Every minute after over 40 hours, if you've already worked 40 hours this week, every minute past that, you start hitting this thing called the overtime rate. The overtime rate, which is usually time and a half. Time and a half is usually what you get paid for overtime. Sometimes you'll work in a really nice situation where like nobody wants to work Saturdays and Sundays in certain places, so the boss makes offers double time, right? If you work holidays, Christmas, you get paid double time. That's because that helps them staff the holidays and staff the weekends. Gross pay. Gross pay is what we'll almost always be talking about here in this lesson. Gross pay is the money you would get paid if there were no deductions coming out of your paycheck, right? So when we talking about how much money someone makes, we're talking about their gross pay in this lesson almost always. The opposite of gross, or like the thing that's related to gross money, is net. Net is the money you actually get to spend. It's the money that actually goes in your bank account. And it's the money you actually can take home. You've netted that money, you've grabbed it in your net, and you've taken it home. The gross pay is the pay before all the little deductions and taxes and all that and benefits, all that comes out. And here is a minimum wage. Minimum wage. There are laws out there that say that for most jobs there's a minimum you have to pay someone. You can't pay them less than that minimum. I think in New York right now the minimum wage for most jobs is $11.10. I think there's some exceptions. One giant exception is waiters and waitresses. They can get paid as low as $9.25 per hour. They have a minimum wage, but they have to get paid at least $9.25. Other jobs, it's $11.10. And also farm workers get paid less than minimum wage, and I forget I don't know what they get paid right now. If there's a minimum wage to agricultural workers, Google that for me. Let me know. Here's the standards, the NYS ED Next Generation Standards, if you care to peruse them. This video that I'm making right now is going to go boop right in here. So if you're not in class, or if you're learning on the weekend, or if you're learning asynchronously, you can still get the access to the instruction that I would provide in class right here. Right? You're watching the video, so you knew how to find it. These are just some math topics of this unit. This just helps me plan. And then here's our plan of study here. So right now we've already completed lesson 1, looking for employment. That's those piecewise rates and the advertised classified ads for jobs. This one right here is the one we're on, pay periods and hourly rates. Eventually next lesson we'll look at commissions, royalties and piecework pay, and employee benefits, and we'll go on. And then once we're done with this unit of wages, we'll move on to maybe income taxes. It's subject to, flexible. We're flexible. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Okay. All right, for those of you who just want to read this on your own, maybe you just want to fast forward this piece, I'm going to read it for those who don't want to read it on their own. So maybe you need this, maybe you don't. Let me read it out. What do you need to know to make sure each paycheck is correct? Everyone looks forward to payday. Most high school students are paid on a weekly basis, which means they receive 2 paychecks per year. Their paydays usually fall on the same day each week. However, not all jobs have a pay period of 1 week. Some employees receive a paycheck every 2 weeks. They receive 26 paychecks per year. These people are paid biweekly. Their paydays fall on the same day of the week. Businesses that distribute paychecks biweekly save time, money, and paperwork when compared with businesses that pay their employees weekly. Some businesses pay their employees twice a month or semi-monthly. There are 12 months in a year. These employees receive 24 paychecks per year. The paychecks are distributed on the same dates each month. For example, an employer may choose to pay an employee on the 1st and 15th of each month. Note that biweekly and semi-monthly payment schedules are slightly different, right? If you're getting paid biweekly, you get 26 paychecks per year. If you're getting paid semi-monthly, you're getting 24 paychecks per year. Close, but not quite exactly the same. Although it is not common, some businesses pay their employees monthly. These employees receive 12 paychecks per year. They're usually paid on the same date of each month, for example, the 15th of each month. Most employers offer their employees direct deposit. This means their paycheck amounts are automatically deposited electronically into their bank accounts on payday. Most part-time jobs that students hold pay a set amount for each hour they work, called an hourly rate. Many people in full-time jobs are also paid at an hourly rate. All right? I include this little rate reading in there that hits a lot of those vocab terms for you. Yeah. All right, so next step, put your name in here, right? You'll put your name in that little slot right there. That's like the one required question. I need to have a name for this. Everything else, remember, don't leave blanks. Try not to leave blanks. Give it your best shot. I'm happy to provide half credit for any reasonable attempt at any problem. You leave me a blank. What am I supposed to do with that, right? So take your shot. Remember, you learn when you make mistakes. So I'd like to encourage you to make lots of mistakes in this class and learn a whole bunch. All right. What are the learning targets? Well, learning targets, we went over them. Remember, they were all the way up here. So to answer this question, what are learning targets? You might have to copy and paste. I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to press Control-C, and then I can go back down to my question, and I can paste these learning targets in. That's what it is. I like to do these little questions here, like what are the learning targets? Because it tells me that you've actually looked at them, right? You had to copy and paste. You had to take a moment to examine these. And learning targets can be helpful because they give you something to anticipate on what you're supposed to learn, right? It allows you to say, I should be able to learn this thing. I should be able to say I can do this by the time I get done with this lesson. All right? So as the sign says, time to get paid. Let's go. Warm up. Your friend Julia gets paid every week. And she usually takes home $640 per week. How much money does she need to budget for her monthly expenses? So she usually gets paid $640 per week, and she gets paid each week. How much money does she need to budget for her monthly expenses? If she's creating a budget, what does she need to what's the maximum money she should spend per month? What figure that out, all right? So pause the video here, and I want you to give this a shot on your own. Give it a shot. Pause the video, come back to me. I'll wait. Good. Glad you paused me. Glad you unpaused me. We're back. Let me show you maybe how to put this through. All right. I know he gets paid $640 per week. That's given right in the problem. But I need to find out monthly what her budget should be for the monthly expenses. So I need to be thinking, how do I convert this weekly figure to a monthly figure? Well, there's a lot of ways you could do this. One easy kind of way, shortcut, is to be like, I know there are about 4 weeks in a month. There are about 4 weeks in a month. So I can just use the number 4. Multiply this number by 640 by 4, and this will give me a number that's about what she should be budgeting for the month. 640 times 4 is 2,560. So that is her monthly budget. She should not be going too much over this. Hopefully she's spending less than this per month so she can have some savings in there. All right. Other ways to do this. Well, you could get a little more exact than just 4. You could say, well, if there are 52 weeks in a year and there are 12 months per year, then 52 divided by 12 will give me like the exact kind of number of how many weeks per month there might be. So from this I can see there are actually 4.333 if I wanted to be really precise, but maybe you don't want to be so precise. Maybe that's not what you're going for. Maybe having a lowball estimate is actually pretty good. This gives her a little more wiggle room for those shorter months. You don't want her using a number that will make her come up short on a February, right? Because February is a little bit shorter month. They have less weeks. Just a thought. If you said 4.333 here, that'd be fine. Right. Totally legit. Just another way of thinking about it and of doing it. Let's go on to the next warm-up. Your friend Julia again. She now wants to figure out if she makes more or less than her sister. She knows her sister makes $30K per year, and Julia earns, as we said, $640 per week. Who makes more, Julia or her sister? Pause me now and give this a shot. Get through. Take whatever time you need to, give this your best shot. Remember, if you're not right, it's fine. We'll go through it. But I want you to give it a shot independently because you'll learn more if you actually have to stop and think about these than if you just passively watch me do them. If you go to the gym and watch everybody else working out, you're not going to be building a whole lot of muscle. If you watch me do the math, I'm developing some math muscles, but you're not working out so hard. So you're going to want to pick up some of these weights here, pause that video, and give this a shot, all right? All right. Great. You paused me. You gave it a shot. Good on you. Congrats. All right. Well, what'd you come up with? Here's how I look at this. I have a problem. My problem, as I look at this, I need to be able to compare these two numbers, but they're in different terms, right? This is 30K per year. This is 640 per week. So I think I'm going to try to convert the 640 week into a yearly number so I can compare these. You could have also alternatively said, I'm going to take this 30K per year and convert that into a weekly. Up to you. I'm going to turn the 640 into a yearly rate. All right, so here's how I go. First, her sister makes 30K. Well, I know that 30K is really 30 times 1,000, which means 30 grand. All right, so that's the number we're really talking about. That was from lesson 1. Put a little semicolon in there and indicate I'm not done. I got more math to do. Now I have to convert that 640 per week into a yearly basis. Well, You might get stuck on this unless you have a certain fact in your mind, which is there are 52 weeks in a year. And that's not going to be on any math reference table or anything else. You're just kind of expected as a person living in Western society to know that there are 52 weeks in the year, except for like leap years, and well, we won't get into that. So anyway, 640 times 52. All right, because $640 per week, 52 weeks in the year. This converts my weekly number into a yearly number. Pull my calculator back up. Help me, Mr. Calculator. I don't want to have to do this in my head. I'd rather rely on you to do this computation. That's the easy part, the computation. It's the math thinking that can be a little difficult. All right, so 33,280. 33,280. That's what Julia makes. Julia makes 33,280. Her sister makes 30 grand. Julia makes a little bit more money. How much more money? We'd have to do some subtraction, right? You could probably do this in your head if you really wanted to. But let me just write it out just in case. There we go. So it's 33,200 minus the 30,000, right? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Don't do that, computer. I wish this gave us a little. I can obviously see this is going to be $3,280. Julia makes $3,280 more than her sister. All right, so my answer might be Julia makes $3,280 more than her sister per year. There. And actually, all I really need to answer this question is that Julia makes more. I didn't say I had to add an actual quantity. You know, we're better than that. We can give a little more, have a little mathematical precision, right? You didn't actually need all of this, but that just helps you, show your work, right? And if you make a mistake and you don't show your work, then I am going to have a hard time giving you tips on how to improve your mathematical reasoning. If you show your work, then I can see the steps of your reasoning, and then together we can work on figuring out what went wrong, right? And that just helps your learning process. So I would encourage you to show your work when possible. And at least give me, the bare minimum what the question's asking for to get that full credit, all right? So next, again, if you want to skip past this, read this on your own. I completely understand. I'm going to read it for those who just like to hear things out loud, and that's okay. Again, what do you need to know to make sure each paycheck is correct? Certain jobs, whether full or part-time, require the employee to work a specific number of hours per week. These are the employee's regular hours. Employees may work more hours than their regular hours. These extra hours are called overtime hours. The overtime hourly rate is usually greater than the hourly rate for the regular hours. Often, the overtime rate is 1.5 times the regular hourly rate, called time and a half overtime. Sometimes, the overtime rate is 2 times the hourly rate, called full-time pay. Your total pay is the sum of your hourly pay, and your overtime pay is your gross pay. There are federal and state laws on the lowest hourly rate that can be paid to an employee in the United States. This rate is the minimum wage. Other laws involve the number of hours an employee can work and conditions in the workplace. It is important to have a clear understanding of your rights and responsibilities as an employee. And again, this isn't just a math class, this is advanced algebra with financial applications. So occasionally I need to throw in a little bit of text to kind of get you to understand what's the context in which we are doing these computations, right? And what's the context in which we are doing this mathematical reasoning. So there is just a tiny bit of reading here in this class. All right, so let's do example 1. So this is how you know this from the first lesson. This is how we do things. I show you a worked example, and then we'll work on a few problems that are kind of like that worked example. We move through anywhere from usually it's between 1 and 4 worked examples, and then we get into a whole bunch of independent practice problems. And these lessons usually take about usually between 3 and 4 days of instruction to get through. This one here actually has 7 examples, worked examples. This could take us over 2 days to get done. Just happened, there's a lot of topics to talk about. We're talking about hourly rates and pay. So Anyway, we'll do example 1 here. Christina is paid biweekly. Her annual salary is $37,000. What is her biweekly salary rounded to the nearest cent? Well, how to figure this out? Well, we know that biweekly paychecks are 26 biweekly paychecks per year. Christina divides her annual salary by the number of paychecks to compute her weekly salary. 37,000 divided by 26 is $1,423.08. So that means that Christina will have earned $1,423.08 per biweekly pay period. All right, so now we're going to give this a shot. We have Jermez here. Jermez has an annual salary of $46,000. What then is Jermez's biweekly salary rounded to the nearest cent? If you have trouble with this, take a look at the worked example and see if you can't reproduce exactly what they did in this situation, because the situation is very similar, right? Before, we're giving Christina's her annual salary. We're going to find her biweekly salary. We have Jermez's annual salary. We want to find his biweekly salary. It's like the same kind of problem. We'll use a similar technique. All right? Pause me. We'll try this on your own. Great. You paused. You tried on your own. Good for you. You're using those math muscles. You know, you're doing some of the exercises yourself, building that math brain. All right. So it's gonna be very similar, right? Because the annual salary we divide it by 26, we get the biweekly. So it's fairly straightforward. All right. There's my 46,000. Dollar signs when we're working with money tells us the units. Oh, I put a multiplication. That's not what I wanted. I wanted divide by 26. I'll need the calculator for this. 46,000 divided by 26 gives me $1,769.23. $1,769, and did I say 27 cents? I'll go back and check. Nope, 23 cents. All right, good. All right. Glad I went back and checked. And there it is. This is Jermez's biweekly salary. At this job, at $46,000 a year, he should be looking at a gross biweekly of $1,769.23. Right? Okay. All right. So now here's what I'm going to kind of turn it on you a little bit. I'm going to change things up, get you to really use that mathematical reasoning. This situation with Jaylin is different. Before, we were given the annual salary, and we had to find the biweekly salary. Now I'm giving you the biweekly, and you've got to find the annual. All right? We're going to do kind of the inverse of what we just did. Right? So I want you to think on this, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Mistakes are good here. Mistakes are good. Mistakes mean you're learning. Doing it on your own means you're learning. Watching somebody else do it on the screen, not as much learning, all right? Pause it. All right. All right. All right. You figured it out? Good for you if you did. Don't worry if you didn't. You actually learned more if you didn't. And that's fine. Either way, you're going to learn it now. All right. So do I want to divide by 26? Really? I want to make an error here, right? That's not what I want to do. That's exactly what I did before. If I take 985 and I divide by 26, that's going to give me 37. Does that even make sense as an answer? $37 for an annual salary? No. Okay. We did something wrong. What did we do wrong? We divided by 26, but we need to do the inverse operation of division. We don't want to divide. We want to multiply. Multiply. So think of it this way. Jaylin earns $985 biweekly, which means, and hopefully you already learned that there's 26 biweekly pay periods in a year. Why? How do they find that? Well, remember, weekly means every other week. So if I just know that there's 52 weeks in a year, remember you're supposed to have that kind of in your head, and I divide by 2 because it's every other week, 26, right? That's where the 26 comes from. If I take this 985 and I multiply by 26, I get a result which kind of makes sense, right? 25,610 is the kind of number I should be expecting here. So I need to change this to multiply. And then it's 25,610. 25,610. Oop, not a dot, comma. There we go. So Jalen's, his annual salary is $25,610 at this job. All right. Example 2. Example 2. How to find annual salary from semi-monthly salary. All right. So here's the situation. Manny is paid semi-monthly. His semi-monthly salary is $1,239. What then is his annual salary? Here's how we'll figure that out. Well, we know that semi-monthly, right? There are 12 months in a year. You know that, right? 12 months in a year, and semi-monthly means twice per month. So 12 times 2 is 24. So Manny receives 24 paychecks per year. He multiplies the monthly amount by the number of paychecks to calculate his annual salary. So here it goes. Taking that 1,239 from up here, my monthly salary, putting it down here, and we're going to multiply it by 24, and we find out that Manny makes $29,736 annually. Fair enough? All right. Well, guess what? Suliana, same kind of situation, different numbers. Suliana is also paid semi-monthly, just like Manny was. Her semi-monthly salary is $1,458, and we were given Manny's semi-monthly up here. What is Suliana's annual salary? All right, pause it here. You know what to do. Pause it here. Give it a shot. Okay. All right. The magic of video. You were able to pause me, give this a shot. Good on you. All right, so we're going to reproduce basically what we had before, right? 1,458. We're multiplying by 24, and the reason is because there are 24 semi-monthly paychecks per year. I go to my calculator, let the machine handle all the heavy lifting when it comes to the computation. I'm just going to be the mathematical reasoner behind the scenes, interpreting the calculator, and the calculator the information it needs to do that computation. So I got 34,992. 34,992. Comma in there. All right. So this is Manny's. This is Suliana's annual salary. 34,992. Almost 35 grand per year. And then here's where I'm going to throw you a curveball. Okay. Eunice is paid semi-monthly. Her annual salary is $43,000. What is her semi-monthly salary? So now instead of giving before you were given the semi-monthly salary and you had to find the annual. Now you've got the annual, you're trying to find the semi-monthly. You got to do the inverse of what we did before. Give it a shot, and yeah, try this out. Okay, all right. How'd you do? All right, feel good about this? I'm guessing most of you, did fine here. Let's see, 43,000. Am I going to multiply by 24? No. I'm going to divide by 24. I'm going to do the opposite of what I did up here. Before I multiplied by 24, I'm doing the inverse operation. Multiplication, division are inverse operations, all right? So what I'm doing, let's think about this. I know the annual. I want to find the semi-monthly. So I need to break up this 43,000 into 24 equal parts, right? And to break something up into equal parts, I'm dividing. Yeah? So 43,000 divided by 24 is 1,791. And okay, we're going to do some rounding here. We have 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, so I can take it out. I need to find out whether this 6 needs to become a 7 or needs to stay a 6. Well, to figure that out, I need to look at the number next to it in the thousandths place, and that happens to be a 6. Well, 6 is a number that's 5 or greater, which means this number here has to become a 7. So 1,791 and 67 cents. 1,791 and 67 cents. Fair enough. We had a little rounding there. No biggie. We can handle that. Everything else looks good. That's a semi-annual. So, yeah, we found her semi-monthly salary. And we are done with the day 1 of lesson 2. Okay. So what I want you to do is, yes, I want to submit my responses now to save my work. and you'll press next, and good. You might have to click submit. You have to go and click submit. Submit as you save. That's very important when you're working with these Google Forms. Submit means save. Once you submit, your response has been recorded, and if you want to move on to the next section, you will click Update Your Response. Boop. And then in your response, we'll say, I've already saved my responses, and I would like to continue to the next section. Click Next, and boop, you're on day 2, okay? And I will pick up day 2 in the next video.